Hey everybody, Sean here. I just got back from Friday Night Magic, and I thought I would show you my updated Boros build. I've gone 3-1 the last 2 weeks. I went 3-1 last week, but I conceded to the guy so he could get the rating. So I technically went 2-2, but I beat him and then conceded. So 3-1 past 2 weeks, which has been pretty good. I took the advice of Alexander Shearer, who was kind enough to blog about my video, and as well as just sort of following the trends that I've been noticing. So I'll go back over the deck and explain any changes if I can remember what those changes were. So we'll start again with the mana base. Nothing has changed in terms of the fetch lands. You still want the full 12, obviously. I've taken out the one Terramorphic Expanse and added a Plains. This is to make it a little bit easier to cast the core Firewalkers in the sideboard as opposed to another mountain. I do think that the comes into play tap land is kind of a tempo hindrance for the deck, as well as the fact that yeah, mostly it's just slow. It's slow in an aggro deck to have lands that come into play tapped. It's that easy. I still have the 2 Teetering Peaks though, just because it makes for explosive starts and because I have Core Skyfisher to bounce them. So anyway, that's the mana base. I'm pretty sure it's still 25 lands. Seems like a lot, but you want to hit your land drops, especially in this deck. So you got a lot of stuff to do with your mana. So back to the 1-drops. Still 4 Step Links, 4 Goblin Guide. I don't think these really need any explanation. Step Links was really an all-star for me today, so I'm very happy that it's a card, I guess. Here's where I did a little bit of switching around. I took out 1 Plated Geopede. I wasn't crazy about him. I'm still not crazy about him. Brad Nelson doesn't like him. They do just kind of feel like bad Step Linkses. They're good. When they're good, they're really good, but a lot of times you just have 1/1s or 3/3s. They get bolted. So I took one out. I've kept in the core Skyfishers, and I have 3 of them now. I think the one spot for the Plated Geopede has become a 3rd Journey to Nowhere, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So this number was good tonight. I don't want to be too results oriented, but no complaints so far. 3 Adventuring Gear. I might go down to 2 Adventuring Gear. It's still a good card, but I don't know if you need 3. I pretty much always side 1 out. It's just an easy decision to sideboard out 1 Adventuring Gear. 4 Lightning Bolts, that's not going to change. I made some changes here. The biggest change you'll see is that there are no Spike Shot Elders. There are no Spike Shot Elders anywhere. The more I played with the card, the less I liked it. And it felt like one of those cards where it looks good, and you heard somebody say it was good, and so you put it in the deck, and it's one of the few cards that ends up getting questioned just because it seems like it should belong, and it seems good, and your brain thinks damage is still on the stack, but it was just never that great. It was too mana intensive, especially if you want to put an Adventuring Gear on it, or a Basilisk Collar on it, or a Sword of Body in Mind on it. I mean, like, not only do you have to pay the mana to equip it, and you have to make sure that you have two red sources besides the sources that you're using to activate all these abilities. It just felt like too much, and I thought that that Cunning Spark Mage was doing just fine. I did take 2 of them out of the main deck just to add a couple more cards in other places, but this has been fine for me. I don't miss the Spike Shots. I still have them if I want to put them back in, but I don't miss them. So you'll see that I just am down to 2 Cunning Spark Mages now. The other 2 are in the sideboard. Sticking with this equipment package for now, we still got the Sword of Body in Mind and the Basilisk Collar. Sword was really great for me tonight. Helped me beat Pyromancer's Ascension because he took out the Ascension's post board to try and trick me. Helped me beat Blue-Black. Helped me beat like Black-Green Genesis Wave deck. I just like it. I like it because it makes all of my creatures threats. And the Wolf token has been super helpful. And milling them I mean, people freak out about milling, even if it's not that bad to have 10 or 20 cards taken away, because a lot of the cards are redundant anyway. Like, it's just a good card. 4 Squadron Hawks. This is another big addition to the deck. I took Alexander Shearer's advice. I took Jerry Thompson's advice. I feel vindicated now that even the blue-white control decks are playing Squadron Hawk. I mean, this is just a really good card. It was great for me tonight. It holds a sword well. I was blocking Sphinx of Jawar Isles against Pyromancer's Ascension long enough to get other creatures into the battlefield, and he just couldn't deal with 4 Squadron Hawks all at once. It's just, unless you draw Pyroclasm, it's hard to get rid of them. 3 Stoneforge Mystics, still fine, great card. One of the engines of the deck. And then I went up to 3 Journeys of Nowhere. I was a little bit on life tilt. I lost to Wormcoil Engine a lot, and I lost to like Titans a lot, or like Avengers of Zendikar. So I added another Journey to Nowhere. I don't have any problems with it. I don't know if I need 3. 2 might be just fine. But I figured that since I had taken out a couple Cunning Spark Mages from the main deck, I needed to make sure that I could remove things that were in my way. And even if it's as simple as getting rid of a wall of omens to get through to kill Planeswalkers, I mean, like, that makes a difference. And people don't want to waste removal on a Journey to Nowhere when they have to deal with a Sword of Body in mind. So it's just a good way to diversify my threats. So that's the main deck. So a couple changes. The biggest departure from the norm, I think, would be the lack of Spike Shot Elder, but I mean, I don't know. After playing, I do kind of fail to see its allure, and maybe that makes me a bad player. Maybe I don't understand the full ramifications of it. But as far as I'm concerned, it's mana intensive, and the body is not impressive enough to be offensive. So they'll happily trade their Llanowar Elf for it, after turn 4 or 5. So. And that's when it's normally online. So anyway, getting rid of the Spike Shot Elder has been great. Maintaining core Skyfishers and Squadron Hawks has been really, really good. Just a lot of flyers, and it's just been really great.